Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stohs. For the last couple weeks, we've talked about transitions, and boy, it's been timely for many of you. I've had lots of notes, lots of emails, and just interactions with people that said, oh my gosh, that just really spoke to me. So transitions, especially at this time of year with kids going back and everything else in our lives happening, it is an important part of our life. But as we've talked about, we have many transitions through our journey. And today we're going to talk about the transition to a new role. I've had a lot of people visiting with me lately about, gosh, I don't know if I'm really in the right role. I'm not sure if this is right for me. When is the right time to change? Well, you know, this is a huge passion of mine because we have such high disengagement in our workforce today when we think about all the time that we spend at work. At the end of the day, the average time in our life that we'll work is about 75% of our life. When you think about that, much of our life is spent at work, and we don't really love what we do, that does cause us to be a little bit disengaged and a little bit, reflective on what is the right thing for me and when should I change and is it time for a transition? So is it time for a transition for you to move to a new role? Well, sometimes people talk about the 7-year itch. Sometimes people talk about, gosh, I just need to do something different and I don't know what it is, and they're kind of wandering and floundering. So I just want to walk through that a little bit today. The first, we really have to step back and think about what is it? Last week we talked about the why, but I want to talk about the how a little bit today and kind of what is it for you when you think about your role? Is it that you're bored? Is it that you don't have a good manager? Is it that you don't really feel like there's an opportunity for growth in your company? Is it the company itself that you don't believe in the product? What is it for you? So I think that's the first place to start, is really stepping back and reflecting and saying, what do I love about my work and what do I don't like about my work? Because if you can't get straight on that initially in the very beginning, you don't really know what you're seeking for. So first I would say let's reflect on that for you and say, what is it for me that is it, like I said, is it the hours? Is it my manager? What is it for me? And then I really want you to think about, what do you want? So being clear about when I make a transition to a new role, again, transitions aren't easy for everyone. So if I'm going to make it, I want to make the right choices and take my time through making a, good deliberate choice for me. So first would really be thinking about, if it's that role, what is that role that I love to do? What I love to do every day, if I could create what I want to create, what would that look like? And I need you to just sit down and start writing that on a piece of paper and just not always at one sitting, but just say, gosh, these are the things that I love to do. And these are the things that I necessarily don't want to be doing. So especially if you're in a role where the work isn't what you love every day and you don't love getting up and going to work every day, what is it that you want to be doing and that you're passionate about? Second is that manager. Sometimes you have really great managers, and I think some of you would say, I'm staying because of the manager, or, I have a great manager and I have loyalty to that person, or not, right? I have lots of people who say, gosh, I love my work, but I don't really like my manager. So you really have to think about what that manager looks like for you and who's the best fit for you for a manager, especially if that's a problem today. And third is that organizational piece, is what kind of company do you want to work for? Does this have anything to do with the company? You might love the company. It just might not be that you're in the right role today, or maybe have the right manager. So it's really then stopping and thinking about, what can I do within the company to maybe seek other opportunities? Now, I know that's uncomfortable for some of you because you think, oh, what if somebody finds out and will they let me go? You know what? You got to step it up and take responsibility for your own actions and your own happiness. If they find out that you're looking, they probably know that you're disengaged anyway if you're not at high performing level. So don't be fearful of that. You have to take responsibility for your own action. I'm very surprised at how many people are fearful because of past experiences. As we built this company and I sit and have conversations with people, I want them to promote themselves and ask about future opportunities, or even just bring it up without worrying that we're going to think that they're going to get fired. It's so sad. It just helps me understand how many poor workplaces there are today. So I want you to take ownership of who you are. And then the fourth thing is the team that you're with. You know, we work with many great people. Some people love being with people. Some people prefer, I kind of want to be on my own and work in my cubicle and be, individual performer, and that's great. Understand what that is for you. Understand, do you need a team around you or not? Do you want to do social things with your team or whatever? So that might sound like a lot, but those key areas, and you've heard me talk about this before, when we are engaged in those areas. When those four come together, it's just a perfect place. And so first you have to really step back and understand what that is. So that's how you're going to think about your transition. I want you to think about all those pieces for you and understand where it's coming from you. Because otherwise you're going to sit here and talk about it, come home to your family and kind of just not be yourself, or you're going to complain to your friends when you're, out together, when you really have to step back and understand what it is for you. Because I can give you advice and somebody else can give you advice, but really you have to say, gosh, here's maybe some things that is personal. For positive charge this week, first, what is your engagement in your role? 2, is it time for a transition? And 3, what kind of area do you need to be looking at for your transition? Step back and reflect. There's a time that you hit within your career, within your role, that sometimes it's just a switch of the mindset. You've been there, but then you've decided, guess what, it's time. And sometimes when we hit that spot, we really need to make a decision, but we don't know how to do it. So I hope today we were able to talk through some of those things to help you think about transitioning into a new role for your engagement. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to get your mind on.